G'day guys and gal. The irony of this video is despite the deplorable topic as well as the self-harm I've endured in the creation of it, it should be quite entertaining for you guys because A, Erebus has many a meme, and B, I make great videos. And don't worry about my soul, I already did my pre-Erebus cleansing ritual before starting this video. Now that my spirit is cleansed and my esophagus is compromised, my chakras truly feel balanced, and I can tackle the topic of today's video with a level and open mind. Today we'll go over who Erebus is, where he came from, and how much of the galaxy's current horrific situation is his fault. Spoilers, more or less all of it, including the Tyranids. As a tree, we'll also cover some of my favourite times that Erebus gets absolutely shat on and put in his place. Let's get into it. Erebus wasn't always this big old chaos worshipping Astartes who had a taste for the younglings. Once he was a small young chaos worshipping priest who had the same tastes. That's right, Erebus sucked from day one. There was no interesting fall or conflict within him. Chaos was like, wouldn't it be gags if a bold pedo brought the galaxy to its knees, and chose the very willing Erebus to do this. Before Chaos reached out to Erebus though, or before his name was even Erebus, he was a poor boy on Colchis who had extreme psychotic tendencies. You know how when your kid starts torturing and then killing animals and then it's only a matter of time before they end up shooting up a school? Well, that was Erebus as he began ripping the tails off scorpions. He took pleasure in the anguish of others and always sought new ways to manipulate and hurt people. His parents were like, "Why can't you be normal?" And he just autistically screeched at them and ran away. His parents would always compare him to the brightest kid in the town who was called Erebus. Taking the comparison probably a bit too literally, evil Erebus murdered smart Erebus and assumed his identity and went travelling the world. As he travelled, he felt the call of religion, as many soon-to-be pedos often do, and began his study in the mysterious gods. One day he saw a mirror that was broken into 4 parts, then BAM! Total chaos corruption. Fair enough. From there, Erebus slowly climbed the rank of his society, learning more about the ruinous powers which were the gods of Colchis, albeit in a more subtle form. However, when Lorgar appeared and created his new religion of the One being that the Emperor was the true god and that the ruinous powers were just a bunch of metaphorical cocksuckers, or literal in Slaanesh's case, Erebus went into hiding to evaluate the next course of action, and soon re-emerged as an acolyte of Lorgar's new religion. Of course he didn't believe in the One, but he did what he needed to do to manipulate everyone. When the Emperor arrived on Colchis and blessed everyone with his holy seed, Erebus was the only person in the entire planet who was not immediately struck with awe and wonder. Instead, he was erect with the knowledge that this was the man that he was destined to destroy. Lorgar chose Erebus as one of his first Colchisians to become an Astartes, and then from there, Erebus' ferocity, zeal, and overall ass-kissing meant that he kept climbing the Wordbearer Legion, eventually becoming their first chaplain. Now, there is a bit of an apparent plot hole here, but I'll explain it. The Wordbearers were by far the slowest legion in the Great Crusade. This is because that whenever they took a planet, they would take time dismantling its culture and religion before then turning everyone to the worship of the Emperor, hence creating extremely loyal and productive planets, the catch being that they're a bunch of religious nutbags. However, when the Horus Heresy broke out, these planets were the ones that fell to chaos instantly and became chaos strongholds. It doesn't seem to make sense that the pendulum could swing that hard until you remember that Erebus exists. Erebus subtly twisted Lorgar's teaching on each of these planets, so that whilst they appeared to only praise the Emperor, it wouldn't take too much of a push to flip them over. Eventually, the Emperor caught on to Lorgar's slow-ass crusade and came for a visit. Now, the Biggie probably would have happily overlooked the coincidentally high level of traumatized choir boys on Lorgar's planets if he had been conquering said planets at a steady rate. God knows the Emperor overlooked a lot of the other Primarch shit, but because of the terrible performance, the Biggie punished Lorgar and the Wordbearers quite severely. He wanted to show them that he wasn't a god, and that if he was, their lives would suck. Hence he mind-raped Lorgar and his sons, forcing them to kneel to Gulliman and the Ultramarines, which was the ultimate humiliation. Now the idea of the lesson was good, but the execution was poor. All Lorgar really got out of it was that his dad was a massive asshole who was no longer worthy of his worship. This is what Erebus had been waiting for. He had been working behind the scenes to subtly corrupt a number of key characters, but had always held back on Lorgar, knowing that if he told Lorgar about chaos while Lorgar was loving his daddy, Erebus would have become squished. Hence, at Lorgar's lowest moment, Erebus told him about the true gods of the universe, the ruinous powers, and how they were worthy of his worship. Erebus then directed Lorgar to begin his pilgrimage to learn more about the dark gods. When Lorgar emerged from his trip to Hell, he was changed. He worked with his sons to quickly corrupt the Wordbearers to chaos, before upping their efforts on the other legions via their warrior lodge system, a seemingly innocent way for different legions to form brotherhoods, but was actually just a way for chaos to spread. Lorgar and his Wordbearers weren't exactly the strongest legion though, they needed more allies if they had a chance of beating the Emperor, hence Erebus once again comes to save the day. When Horus bumped into an intergalactic civilization that I can only describe as Warhammer Star Trek, he began peaceful negotiations. This civilization was called the Interrex and was dedicated to the destruction of chaos. Overall, pretty swell guys. Well, Erebus broke into the Interrex's vault and stole an extremely powerful Chaos Blade. Then he made sure the Interrex thought Horus was responsible, hence the Interrex attacked Horus, thinking he was a follower of Chaos, cause who else would try and steal that blade? A war broke out and the Interrex is destroyed. Chaos having a field day here. Erebus gave the blade to an Imperial planetary governor who felt a nurgle, prompting Horus to go kick said governor's ass. Well, apparently a fat bloated walking corpse whose intestines are hanging out is a solid match for a Primarch, as the corrupted governor was able to land a blow on Horus with the Chaos Blade before he was turned into mush. Sure, having a Chaos Blade helps, but it still paints a wacky picture in your head imagining a pretty basic nurgle bitch landing a shot on Horus. The poison from the blade began to kill Horus pretty rapidly. He entered a coma and all of his sons freaked out while Erebus held a massive shit-eating grin. He directed the Lunar Wolves to take Horus to a Chaos Temple to heal him, and in their desperation, they obliged. In there, Erebus and the Chaos Gods entered into Horus's mind and basically tricked and manipulated him into selling his soul. They showed him the future with the Emperor as a god, which ironically would only take place if Horus joined Chaos. They also promised to heal his wounds, even though I'm pretty sure that if Horus denounced Chaos and was 100% loyal to the Emperor, the wound wouldn't be able to kill him. After all, Guilliman had his throat slit by the same blade, and he just kinda shrugged it off and said Chaos was for gaybos. Despite Magnus coming into the coma as well and telling Horus not to be a sellout shill, Horus did it anyways, hence Horus awoke. Now when Horus woke up, he didn't just instantly become a raging demon asshole. He was different, sure, but he still had good intentions and he was still Horus. It was only after years of his soul being corrupted, as well as Erebus constantly being in his ear, that he ended up as the chaotic meat suit that he died as. From here, Erebus went on to be the main coordinator of the Istvan atrocity, where the traitor legions purged themselves of any marines whose loyalty lay with the Emperor, before going to Ultramar to activate the Ruin Storm, a huge warp storm designed to cut the Imperium off from itself. Now during this, there was another wordbearer called Argul Tal, who was a bit of a hombre. He was evil, sure, like he had a demon in him, but he wasn't sadistic and he was a huge advocate for free will and claiming your own destiny. Now Erebus didn't like that because he was all about that destiny life. What he didn't like more so than that was the fact that Argul's friendship with Khan, a legendary World Eater warrior, was preventing Khan from becoming Khorne's avatar. Hence Argul Tal, the only likable wordbearer ever, was stabbed in the back and killed by Erebus. Say it with me, team. Fuck Erebus. Fortunately, Khan had something to say about this. Erebus was challenged to a duel by Khan, and boy oh boy did he get absolutely fiddled like those choir boys he had tormented himself. Khan curb stomped Erebus to a point where Erebus had to beg the Chaos Gods for his life and to save him. Unfortunately, they did, and they teleported him out of there, but it was quite satisfying either way. Despite this hit to his pride, Erebus's arrogance led him to believe that he could corrupt Sanguinius to chaos, a feat considered to be more or less impossible, but Horus let him try anyway. Horus and Erebus baited Sanguinius to a demon world that had two greater demons on it. There was Kabanda, who was there to kill Sanguinius, and then there was Chris the Perverse, who was there to corrupt him. Erebus didn't know Kabanda would be there though, so when Sanguinius killed both of the demons and emerged intact and uncorrupted, Erebus looked like an idiot. His arrogance reached such a height that he started raging at Horus for ruining his plan. Horus considered his complaint, and then he flayed the flesh from Erebus's face. If Erebus cried out or moved during said flaying, then Horus would have killed him on the spot. Suck shit, Erebus. After Lorgar tried to usurp Horus and copped a mace in the face for his efforts, the Wordbearers and Erebus took a bit of a back seat for the rest of the heresy, as no one liked them. But by then, Erebus had done his part. He had succeeded in the art of subtlety, but the galaxy was aflame with demons and war. There was no subtlety anymore, hence his use had diminished. After Horus got clapped and the traitor legions fled to the Eye of Terror, Erebus followed them there, as he now competes with Corferon, another pedo dick, for control of the Wordbearers, as Lorgar is currently in deep meditation, aka hiding like a little bitch from Corvus. In recent lore, Erebus has re-emerged from the big old 13th Black Crusade and caused some problems, but he's definitely more of a mini-boss now, and I would even argue that it's nearly time to give him a gloriously painful and satisfying death. Erebus isn't a bad character, he's an evil character, but he's not jarring or poorly written. He's the guy you love to hate, so when people say fuck Erebus, they don't mean retcon him, they mean shove a hot iron rod up his ass and twirl it around till he prolapses. And that does us for today guys, the lore and story of Erebus, the biggest dickhead in Warhammer 40k. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where only $1 per month gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more bleached content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.